What you watching? Oh, you're just opening up the stream. Did it always start pre-start with ads?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I guess I never noticed before.
Hmm.
Okie dokie.
Can't believe Cleo missed the big reveal episode.
Just falls in line with life.
I
Not her
know.
fault.
No, I'm not saying that she chose to miss. I'm just saying that it lined up that way. Like,
Yeah. I swear to God, everybody who starts plans a wedding, looks at your schedule and says, "Yeah, I'm gonna fuck them over." It's almost happened to me like every time I've gone to a wedding.
mm.
I lost my job over a wedding once.
Wow.
Yeah, well, I was part of my cousin's decorating committee. Like I was like the one that was like, well, this goes here and this goes there. I was 16. I was
The
working at A.
planner?
Yeah, for the decorations. I wasn't the
That
actual wedding planner.
well, that's what the
They did.
wedding planner does.
Well, not everybody can afford a fucking wedding planner.
Right, so you were the wedding planner.
No, I was only for the decorations. It's not like I knew, like I wasn't in charge of the food or anything like that. Photography. No, I didn't do any of that. I was
That's
just
what the
like,
caterer does. And that's what the photographer does. The wedding
yeah,
planner
well,
is the one that decorates everything.
no, the wedding planner is the one that plans everything. They're the one who hires the photographer, the one that goes through the book and picks out the cake with the bride
Well,
and all
then you
that
did a
jazz.
really bad job as the wedding planner.
I wasn't the fucking wedding planner. I was just a decorator.
You did such a
Anyways,
bad job.
let me finish my fucking story before I slap you.
Excuse me?
Anyways, I was 16 working at A&W and I had known about the wedding obviously for a very, very long time and I put in for my time months ahead. And I kept reminding them up to the wedding, and I said, I need the whole weekend off because I'm the one doing the decorating. And they're like, okay. And then it comes around, and they hired this new girl like at the beginning of the month, and they gave her a whole week off for going camping, and they put me in her spot. So they had me booked for the whole weekend. I'm like, dudes, I freaking took the time off months ago. And you guys were all like, yeah, yeah, yeah. You even know the fucking bride and groom. I'm not coming up. I'm not showing up. They're like, you don't show up, you're fired. I'm like, well, then I quit. And they're like, oh no, it's fine. You've said that before. I'm like, no, seriously, I can't. I can't show up to work. I have other, like, I've taken the time off. It's been in the books for months. And so I just didn't show up. I said, fine, then I quit. So I did say it. And then like my friend Tara was there, and then like my friend Tanya was there. Like they all worked with me, and the supervisor was talking to me about it, and they were right there. They heard every fucking word. So when they brought it up, they're like, "Well, you didn't say anything." I was like, "Yes, I did. I said I quit." And both Tara and Tanya were like, "Yeah, she said that." And they're like, "Well, you're just her. You guys are her friends. You would say anything to back her up. It's all blah blah blah." I'm like, "Fuck you guys." And then the supervisor got in trouble because the manager was like, she's been in the books for months. What the fuck?
Hmm.
So I didn't go back. He's like, you can come back. I don't, the supervisor was going to be leaving soon anyways. Well, I don't fucking care. I'm not coming back to this shithole. And
Rude.
he's like, oh, okay. He was best friends with the bride's dad. So of course he was going to give me the time off. So when he found out that, I didn't get my time off and somebody else took a brand new employee, got a week off after only being there for like 3 weeks. He was pissed.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hey JPC, how's it going, man?
But that's the story for the before we start the Flash, which has nothing to do with weddings or A&W. Maybe Big Belly Burger. but not A&W.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hmm. So you worked at Big Belly Burger?
No, no. I would like to go and actually eat at a Big Belly Burger.
They're not real.
I know, which makes me very sad because they hype it up so much in the show. And like even the first time Diggle had Big Belly Burger, he was like, "Oh my God," because he had never heard of it before. Was it Diggle?
I think it was Diggle.
Oh my God. So even now that Diggle's like one of those hard ass guys, he seems like a foodie to me. And he ate a Big Belly Burger and he liked it. I have to try it. I have to somehow get into a DC universe and try Big Belly Burger.
Well, we're only on Earth like 0, so
Hmm.
you just gotta travel to Earth 1.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that's what Earth we're on.
Assuming we could be on Earth like bazillion, trillion, gazillion.
That's not how that works.
No?
No,
Oh,
it's only 52.
I'm sure there's a lot more than that.
It's only 52 that we know of.
Exactly.
The new 52.
The new 52. Ugh. I'm like, it's so freaking hot in here. Hopefully the air conditioning just like eventually just makes everything so freaking cold. Anyways, I am ready.
All right, let's get this started.
I'm done telling stories.
All right.
Nobody lets me tell them.
Yeah. All right, starting in 5, 4, 3. Warning! This podcast contains Savitar. I know who he is.
Me too.
Oh, yeah?
Hmm.
What's up, everyone, and welcome to the As Seen on TV podcast for The Flash, Season 3, Episode 20. I know who you are. I'm your host, Dom. With me is Nikki.
Hi.
It's kind of sad. I missed last week, and then Cleo misses this week. I feel like Cleo missed the bigger episode, though. So, yeah,
Yeah.
it's kind of sad.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. Like that last scene last week, last episode where we don't see who it is coming out of the suit, and then we see Caitlyn's response, like her face, her response, the way she reacted. It was, I think that was huge. That was huge.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I know. We were thinking it was Ronnie. It was possible that it was
Ah,
Ronnie. It was
yeah.
possible, Barry's been like the number one theory though for the longest time. So I
Hmm.
know we were trying to think of anybody but Barry that it could be, but Barry was the one you came back to. It always made the most sense, you know.
Well,
Um,
he did say I am the future Flash.
right,
I mean,
but that could
that
be we talked about that. I think I was the one that
yeah.
brought it up. It could be interpreted two different ways. It could be I am the future
Yeah.
Flash, as in he's talking to Barry,
Yeah,
or I
it
am
was
the
all
future
about
Flash, as in
phrasing. Yeah.
I am the future
Yeah.
of Flashes, whatever. So, yeah, big reveal, big reveal.
Hmm.
Barry is Savitar. All of it makes sense to me, all
It
of it,
does,
except
but
for
I'm
one detail.
disappointed.
Except for one detail.
Why
Why
would he kill
would Barry
Iris?
kill Iris?
Yeah.
Does not make sense to me. So,
It's that's why I was thinking somebody completely not Barry.
mhm.
Because I was like, he wouldn't kill Iris. He's making such a big deal about it right now. Why would he kill her in the first place? Like, I know one of the things that he said when we first saw Savitar was like, "You took everything from me. It's all your fault." It's like, okay, Barry.
Mhm.
Like, okay, couldn't you just go back in time and do what you usually do and fuck things up again? Like stop it from happening
No,
instead of,
the Speed Force banned him from doing that. He is actually not allowed to do that. The next time he does that, they are trapping him in the Speed Force. They already told him that.
but then he becomes Savitar.
Mm-mm. No, Savitar's from the future.
Yeah, he is from the future, which means Barry becomes him.
Right.
Yeah. So Savitar is going around and
But
fucking
he's
shit
not
up
changing
anyway.
anything. This is the way it's always happened.
I don't care. Why would he kill Iris? As much as I hate her and
Yeah,
don't like her, it
that's what does
doesn't
not
make
make
any
sense. Yeah,
sense.
that's what doesn't make any sense. And it's possible that the suit that he's using also is preventing the Speed Force from trapping him. He might be moving too fast for the Speed Force to catch
Yeah,
him, something
I
like
think
that.
what's her name?
Tracy.
Tracy. Yeah, she kind of figured that out, didn't she, during the episode that, he's just moving so fast that he needs the suit so he doesn't like explode.
Yeah, yeah. Well, she invents the tech 4 years from now
Hmm.
that will eventually trap Savitar into the Speed Force. But when we meet her this episode, she's basically given up. She's burning all her work. Right. Cisco, Barry, and HR jump in,
Hmm.
put out the trash barrel fire that she's got going on in the lab. She's like, all my work, they're cutting me off. They're saying it's a waste of resources and all this stuff. So she's burning all her work and she's going to put an application in at Big Belly Burger. So
She is such a klutz, by the way.
yeah,
She's really klutzy, and I thought it was hilarious. I really like this actress too. So I automatically just like Tracy Brand, you're one of my new favorite characters. Like, and I like knowing that she makes the tech that traps Savitar. I hope she stays a lot longer than the end of the season.
well, it seems like they're setting up a relationship with her and HR. So like, oh, that was absolutely fantastic. Like after Killer Frost comes in and tries to kidnap Tracy, Barry and Cisco stop him. It's HR that reels her back in. Like he's the one. He's the mouthpiece. We have Cisco in the van, whatever, with the earpiece with Julian, and they're sitting there talking, and Cisco's telling him everything to say. And he's repeating it, but he's ad libbing a little bit and using terrible French, and actually kind of woos her off her feet.
Yep.
They go to get, or when she's first there, she's getting coffee by herself. She has no money to pay for it, and that's when HR swoops in, offers to pay for the coffee. He orders his usual a flash with something whatever, and she
With
orders
mocha
a
and a double shot and all his
she orders a
crap.
Zoom, which is on the secret menu apparently, something
Hmm.
that Jitters does not advertise,
Well,
which is a triple espresso with a shot of cayenne. So, does that sound appetizing to you?
no,
No.
but I mean, a lot of people like Mexican chocolate, coffees and everything like that. Mexican chocolate is spicy, so I mean, to put Cajun and I guess it replicates that. I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know. And I love when they were talking about the Speed Force, and he basically named it for her, and she's like,
Hmm.
that's a good name for it."
Hmm.
And I'm sitting there going, that is the name.
Yep,
Like
that's
it's
the
not a
name.
good name, that is the name. But she doesn't know that.
No.
But and it's when we have well Cisco's in the car, like him and Julian are. Is it the car? Were they in a van or are they in like a tight small room in a lab or something? It seemed like they were in a van for part
I
of it.
think it was the lab.
I
No,
thought they were
wait.
in a van outside of Jitters and then they
Maybe they were
moved
in
to
a
the
van
lab.
because but see, they have the tech to do long range vocal like
Yeah, I don't know.
communication, so they could have easily just been in a little room in the lab or in a van. I
Yeah,
mean, it's not they didn't really show us. It was just,
yeah.
just to say that they have communications with HR and yeah, I
But
don't know.
Julian accused Cisco of not using his powers to stop.
Of holding back.
Yeah, with holding back against Killer Frost. He said from his angle, he had a clear shot,
Hmm.
but he didn't take it. Right, and you kind of see Cisco held back in the battle with Tracy too. Like the first time, then Barry snaps the torch or whatever and burns her, so she runs away.
That was so cool. He lit it and he snapped, and then poof, a big freaking fireball went at her. And I'm like, how come you haven't done things like this before? If you're capable of, making fireballs by just snapping a little bit of fire, then it, guy,
Yeah,
you have a little. Is that the first time he's ever thought of it?
it's the first time we've seen it. I don't know if it's the first time he's thought of it, but um, yeah, I don't know. We saw that, but then we saw like Caitlyn surfing around like Silver Surfer over there on the ice sheets that she was making, and that was like the most fantastic thing ever.
I was so enthralled with that. I think I zoned out just watching her just zoom around on her ice bridge. I was like, this is so cool.
It was like a giant ice slide. Like I
It
want
was
one.
great. Well, because she was making one with her one hand and she was, she was like she was propelling herself forward. So it was just like, it was so
Yeah.
cool.
Oh, it's fantastic. It's fantastic. I want that. I want that. I want that ability. I want to be able to do that more than anything.
Get
So
that, like, yeah, like I said, I was just enthralled. I zoned out. I just watched Kate. There was like no sound in my head. I completely zoned in on just the action of her zooming around and doing the loop-de-loops and everything. I was just like, this is so great.
yeah, yeah, it was good. Um, but Tracy is the target here again, and once again, Cisco hesitates. Barry goes to stop him, and Barry ends up getting hurt in the process, getting the icicle right through the back of his left was it ankle
No, it was like his calf.
calf, same spot she got him in last time, and she said deep tissue, that's what hurts the most.
This, yeah, the scar tissue is more sensitive.
Yeah. So Cisco admits why he's not using his powers. He admits it to Julian, and Julian kind of has to give him a good old fashioned pep talk, get him motivated again to help. And so they bring Tracy back to Star Labs, and they fill her in on everything, except for the Flash's identity. They don't tell her that he's Barry.
Hmm.
They show her future accomplishments, her Nobel Prize, all this stuff that she does in 4 years, and she's really excited until she finds out basically the no pressure or anything, but the weight of the world rests on her shoulders. So she
Yeah.
runs away. Like, I don't
She
blame
just,
her.
I don't know if it was like more of running away, but it was just like she needed time to regather her thoughts because that was a lot to take in.
Yeah,
For anybody, it would be a lot to take in. So just needed somewhere to go, be by herself, and just think.
yeah, yeah. She goes to her favorite place, a Galileo statue,
Hmm.
and they hologram stalk her to the statue. HR goes and shows up with more coffee, of course. Like every time you turned around this episode, and it's really nothing new, but it
No.
was more apparent because he was giving her coffee every time. So
Hmm.
it's like every time he met her, it's like, here's coffee, 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 coffee. Like, can you imagine if she didn't like coffee? Like, HR would have just been like, all right, see you later, and just walked away and never came back.
Well, it sounds like the Zoom is a big kick in the face, just like
Oh,
whatever
yeah.
Harry drinks or HR drinks. So it's kind of like common ground there. That's
Yeah.
something they have in common. So yeah, I'd be giving somebody coffee if they were thinking the same thing as me.
Yeah. So he basically talked motivation into her. This is a big motivational speech episode kind of thing going on here. And she wants to build a device that is going to use Savitar's own velocity against him. Because she realizes that the metal is what they call an other metal or something
A
like that.
strange mental.
Strange metal.
Yeah.
And they needed the suit to run. That he needs the suit to run fast. It's basically what it is.
Yeah.
So that's the plan there. In the meantime, Cecile got kidnapped, right? Because we were dealing with this whole situation with her. Like, everything was going great at the beginning of the episode. Looked like her and Joe came back from running a marathon. They were practicing for the marathon or whatever. And Cecile kind of dropped the L-bomb and told Joe that she loved him.
Hmm.
And Joe kind of panicked. Right? You see it right then and there. But when she
I think
shows up,
initially it was a shock, and then he panicked afterwards because then
yeah,
everything else started happening. He's like, I don't want her to be in the middle of this.
yeah.
Ah,
Well, because she stops by his work, later just to kind of like make sure everything's okay. And he's just like, no, everything's fine. I'm just really busy at work. And she's like, okay. And then they sit down and have another talk. And in the meantime, Barry's just like, no, you got to tell her. If you really love her, you need to tell her. And I was like, Barry, that was the wrong thing to say to him. Like, that you shouldn't have phrased it that way. Like, phrasing it, if you love her, that's putting more pressure on Joe. Like, the whole
hmm.
point of this is to not put pressure on Joe. And so with the pressure built up, Joe goes in and tells Cecile, that's it, we're done. And I'm like, Joe, are you stupid right now? Like, I was so mad at Joe. I don't know. I don't know about you.
I I don't know. Like I was sitting there, I'm sitting there going like, no, Joe, Joe, you're being stupid. But I mean, at the same time, I could understand. Like he really doesn't want her to get hurt and stuff like that. But just just associating with him or any of the other people is putting her in danger. So at this point, it doesn't really matter. Come clean.
Yeah. So she's like stunned and she's like, I guess I'll see you around work. And she just walks out. And that's when Caitlin shows up, grabs
Hmm.
her. So now, it's a big, Tracy, can you help us? We said we were going to promise you, but now let's go do something dangerous. And it was this big showdown between getting Cecile back and trying to keep Tracy safe, and Team Flash versus Killer Frost. And she's sitting there repeating everything that Barry says,
Hmm.
like, at the moment he says it. So I guess it's technically not repeating, but
No.
and then she's like, and because Savitar already knows that this is his past, he knows all this. That's how I know that Cisco's in the rafters. And she blows a bomb up, and I was like, oh no, Cisco, don't. And luckily he made it out okay. Like, he was able to open a breach, he was able to throw himself through, and survive. So good for
We need
Cisco.
to we need to see more Cisco fighting.
Yeah. Yep.
Because the reason why he doesn't have as much confidence in himself is because he isn't out there in the field practicing with his power and getting better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Um. So this whole thing kind of resonates with Barry. Right? He's sitting down later after Joe apologized to Cecile, kind of explained everything. She told him that Barry's the Flash, and that Kid Flash is his son, and all this stuff. So he's like, she promised not to say anything, and Barry's sitting there, and all of a sudden, it's just like
Hmm.
all these memories start flooding in from the season. Is like the season montage of like all the things that Savitar said to Barry.
Yep.
And Barry's sitting there, and he's like the future Flash and all this stuff, and you see Barry run out into the field, right? And he's just like, I know who you are. I'm sitting there going, it's Barry. Like, I've known it's Barry. Like, we've said this for so long. I was hoping it was somebody else,
Hmm.
because Barry was too obvious, but yeah,
Yep.
it's Barry. But I don't know. I'm excited to see where we're gonna go now in these last couple episodes, but I'm let down because we called it way too early. Like, this was one of our
Yeah.
first theories of when we actually sat down and we was like, who is Savitar? And we finally, I want to say this was maybe episode 5 that we sat there and thought
I
about
almost think
this.
the moment we saw Savitar. I think we almost all said, yeah, it's
No,
the
because
flat. It's very,
the moment we saw him was like in the cell, like ripping that guy apart. We had no clue who that was at the point.
oh, I
And
mean,
then
yeah,
we were
okay.
saying that we were dealing with alchemy up to like episode 4. So that's what I'm saying. Like episode 5,
Mhm.
like right around the time. There was episode 5 was the episode where Julian actually got hooked up to the device and was talking for Savitar. And I think that was the moment. That was the episode where we really said that, and we go, pretty sure it's going to be Barry, and we just kind of stuck with that all the way through. So, I mean, we called that 15 episodes ago, and little let down by that, little let down. But
Yeah.
I'm still, like I said, I'm still excited to see where these last couple episodes are gonna go. So,
Like
um,
last podcast we did, me and Cleo sat there and we're like, just because we based it off of Caitlin's reaction to uh whoever was coming out of the suit, which is Barry, but we were like, because of her reaction, we're like, we think it's Ronnie. It's still up in the air, but we think it's Ronnie. We kind of hope it's Ronnie because we don't want it to be Barry.
but yeah. Well, the reaction that Cisco had would have been pretty apparent with Ronnie. It's consistent with what her reaction would, like a suspected reaction would be if it was Ronnie. But it still makes sense for Barry too. So, um, and I
Does
could
it?
totally, yeah, it does. Like, she's evil, and then she finds out that somebody she's been working with when she was good is now, evil in the future. Like, why wouldn't she? That it's more comfort. It's like, oh, I know you, I could trust you, especially you're evil, I'm evil, let's do it. Like,
Yeah, I guess.
it's
I just
better than, like, who else would it be? A stranger? Like, she'd see, like, not even a stranger, but like find out that it's Zoom again, or whatever, and you'd just be like, why? Like, that pair up does not make sense, but this one does. So, um, I'm totally fine with it. We have Kelvin in chat saying, I think this future Flash is the further version of the Flash after 2024. Therefore,
mhm.
he blames Barry for losing his mom and dad and Iris, um, and it drives him mad with self hate. So he hates Barry and everything he loves. So he needs to ruin past Barry's life to ensure he becomes Savitar because he's obsessed with power and probably has tapped into the Speed Force too much and activated the negative Speed Force, which evil speedsters use. So that's totally possible. That's actually a pretty damn good theory. Um, it's just you would think that if Barry actually loved and cared for Iris, that no matter when this was, no matter who, whenever, no matter when Barry was, past, present, future, that he would never hurt Iris, and that's the part that's what I have so much trouble believing.
I
Um,
also go back to the episode where he went into the future and he got to see himself in 2024, right? And he saw the whole team and he got them back together after, you know, um a bunch of things that he stayed a little extra because, he wanted to fix things. You think going back with that knowledge, it would kind of work out the same way and Barry wouldn't end up becoming Savitar because of all that stuff, like, reuniting with the people, like basically his family, would help him out.
yeah, it's really difficult because we've seen things change, right? We've had speedsters come and actually change things. So what makes this so difficult is that um, Savitar is saying that all this is his past. And I don't know exactly how this is going to work because this is Barry interacting with Barry. So anything Barry changes, he's technically going to remember it as Savitar. If he's altering it. If the course still sets him up to be Savitar, no matter what he does, since it's his future version is going to retain all the new memories every time he changes something. So it's not going to matter what he changes. Savitar will remember that he did it.
If Kelvin is right and Savitar's using the negative Speed Force, he can go back and change things. Maybe he's going back to make sure that he doesn't become Savitar.
I don't think so. I don't think so. Because it seems like killing Iris is what triggers that. But, so if Savitar's coming back and still killing Iris, then no.
I think they're going to stop it.
Yeah, I don't know. I like that. They're gonna have to have a damn good explanation on how they're changing things and whatnot, because anything that happens at this point, Savitar would be able to remember it. And that's why you see in the scene with the in the warehouse where Caitlin is able to say everything word for word. Because guess what? If this all happened, right, once through, and they didn't change anything, right? Then Tracy never would have came early. Like, they never would have found Tracy early.
But
They never
things
would
have
have been in
already
the hostage.
changed.
I know, but I'm saying if they didn't, then Savitar would have had no memory of them in the warehouse. And that conversation that Caitlin was able to spit out verbatim would never have happened, so Caitlin wouldn't have that information. So they've changed all this stuff. They've made this now. And Savitar somehow still remembers it because it's Barry's past. So everything they're changing, Savitar's remembering in real time as his past. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if you're able to follow that, but
No, I got it.
yeah. So
I'm
it
just
makes it
trying to
really
think of other
difficult.
things, so.
Yeah, it just makes it really difficult for them to come up with something. So they're gonna have to have a damn good explanation as to how they stop Savitar. Because I just, at this point, I don't see a way to do it. And this is one of the first times that I do not have a theory. I do not have any idea of what they could do to stop this. So that's why I'm actually excited for the last couple episodes here, because I really want to see how it's done. They have to do it right. So, but when Cisco knocked Caitlin out in the warehouse, he drew some blood from her, which Julian is gonna use to try to reverse engineer a cure. Which I was sitting there going, how come they just didn't do this all along with Caitlin? And it's because Caitlin was never Killer Frost, so getting her blood as Killer Frost is different than
She
having her
wasn't
blood.
fully mutated. That's exactly
Yeah.
what Julian said.
Yeah. So it seems like a good plan, but Savitar comes and takes her, so they don't even have Caitlin anymore. So they're back to square one. But I don't know. Wally had gone to see Jesse this episode, so he wasn't really around. But
Yeah, Julian had an issue with that.
yeah. Well, Julian just wants her back, and I don't blame Julian. Like, he's really cranky.
Yep. He's always been cranky.
But technically, it's his fault. So
Is it?
technically,
Oh yeah, because he was the one who ripped the necklace off. So.
yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah.
Technically, it's his fault, but I don't know. You have anything else for this episode?
Not really.
The only other thing I wanted to mention was I found it funny the Norbert Einstein from Harrison's Earth, instead of Albert, it was Norbert Einstein. He's like, Norbert, Albert, like what's the big deal? In other words, and I was just like,
They knew who
of.
he was talking about, so
Yeah.
it's not like, it was a big deal.
yeah,
Yeah, I totally understand his reaction to be like, whatever, like, let's just keep going. Like, they just kept walking because he was like, you guys know that everything's different on my Earth, and I'm going to say it because that's what I grew up with. So that's what I know.
yeah. Brian said something Caitlin said got me thinking that Savitar was the future Barry. She said that to Barry that she's not allowed to kill him. So
That could be just Savitar wanting to do the last blow by himself. That's
Yeah,
a
but that
typical
was-
villain thing.
that there though was just more
Well, yeah, knowing.
reassurance at that point. And I was like, they're gonna reveal it, because I knew this was the big reveal episode. So I was like, they're really reinforcing the point. They're driving it home, and they're making
there
sure to
were-
let you know that Barry is Savitar ahead of time.
if this was the only hint, it would my head would go straight to, oh, this guy just wants the last blow. He wants to be the one
Right.
who kills Barry. So,
Right, but it wasn't the only hint. It was just
no,
more to
I
add on
know.
to it.
I know. I'm just saying, like, it could have easily not been Barry, and people are just saying that it is because of all the hints up to this point. But we know it's Barry. That's not the case. But I'm saying that if nothing else were to line up, this would just be a typical villain move.
Yeah, but it
You've
was
heard
just
it
with all the evidence
time and
stacked
time
on.
again.
It
I
was just,
know.
I'm sitting there going, they're doing it. They're doing it. They're going to do it. And I'm just sitting there. I'm waiting for the suit to come off. I'm like, Barry, Barry, come out of the suit, Barry, 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 Barry. Like, I was actually excited at that point to see it was Barry just because I wanted to be right. And then when I was right, I was just like, why'd I have to be right? You know? But Brian also says I loved the chase scene between the Flash and Killer Frost. Yeah, that was the best part of the whole episode.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, next episode is called I believe it's Cause and Effect. Let me just double check that real quick. Cause and Effect, yes. Drastic times call for drastic measures. Barry takes drastic measures to stop Savitar. Meanwhile, HR continues to push Tracy Brand to design the trap for Savitar, and Killer Frost returns with an interesting proposal. So, but yeah, I don't know if you saw the preview for next episode, but it looks like Julian is trying to create a device that erases Barry's memory. So if they do that, then Barry wouldn't be able to remember anything. Therefore, Savitar couldn't remember what he was doing. I think that was the plan. Sounds like a really weak plan, but who knows?
Not really. If Barry can't remember what he did or what he's done up to this point, Savitar can't come to be.
Yeah, but
'Cause
then
he
he's
doesn't
not going to remember Iris or Joe or anything, so it's going to be a
Whatever.
terrible plan.
Whatever.
Whatever. It's going to be awful. Nikki, where can the people find you?
On Twitter at LadyVenom24, LadyVenom24.
And you can find me down below at Phenomenon, PHENOMEDOM. You can find us all and more on Facebook, Gmail, G+, Twitter, and right here on YouTube. At /ASO TV Podcast for some more podcasts for some of your favorite TV shows, games, and movies. Till next time. See you guys later. Alright, thank you guys for watching. I'm going to set up for Gotham, and we'll be back in a few minutes.